I just realized our clock says 4:23 a.m. We'll just go over a few quick navigational tips for the user interface. So with our touch display, we can easily access our float screen by pressing the flotation button on the display. Alternatively, if it's something that you access frequently, you can use the F1 button on the console here, and that is a shortcut to the flotation adjustment. We can access our one-touch return settings through the main display by accessing the main menu, setup, and then one-touch return. Alternatively, if it's a menu that you access frequently, you can do so by pressing the F2 button, which will take you directly to the one-touch return menu. Okay, so now that we've set up the Windrower and header combination in the display, we can set our one-touch return features. One-touch return is something that allows the operator to set various operating variables to certain preset buttons on the GSL or ground speed lever. To access the one-touch return menu, we access our main menu. From there, we go to the setup screen and OTR, or one-touch return. In this menu, we'll see all the various cutting variables that are able to be selected or tied to the one-touch return buttons. They vary from reel height, reel fore aft, knife speed, reel speed, draper speed, deck position or header float, and header tilt. You'll notice that header height is absent from the menu. That is because header height is always tied to the one-touch return. For our purposes, we're going to select header tilt and reel height. Now that we've selected what we want enabled in our one-touch return, we can back out of there. The next step to setting our one-touch return targets is to engage the header. With the header engaged, we can simply set the header height, reel height, and tilt to where we want. So for example, if we're cutting above the ground, we can select a header height of 3 in this case, a guard angle or a tilt of 8, and a reel height of 4.6. Once we have those 3 variables where we want, so 4.6, 3.1, and 8, we simply hold and press the button that we want those targets to be set for, in this case A. So if I hold and press the A button, now my target A has been set. To set an on-ground or alternate set of operating variables, we simply move the header to the desired position. So let's go, we'll go up with our reel in this case to 10, and let's tilt our guard angle a little back. So if I'm happy with these settings for position B, I simply hold the B button until those variables have been set. Now I've set A and B. To return to those cutting presets, I simply momentarily press button A, and my header height, my reel height, and my header tilt should automatically return to the presets I set for A. If I'd like to now return to B, momentarily press B, and those variables will return to the positions I've set for B. If at any time, using the one-touch return presets, I want to alter, let's say, my header height, I can do so, but notice that it has kicked me out of one-touch return. So to resume to my B settings, simply momentarily hit press B, and I'm returned to the B settings. If I wanted to alter one of my settings, I would have to now put my reel to the desired position and ensure that my guard angle or tilt and my height are all at the target position that I want before resetting position B. So now that I'm happy with these settings, I simply hold and press B, and I've now reset my one-touch return B position set points. If at any time you want to add a variable to the one-touch return, simply enter the main menu, setup menus, one-touch return, and now I think I'd like to add my reel fore and aft to be tied to these presets. So once I've enabled that and it's green, I can move back out. Now, to incorporate the reel fore aft position into my one-touch return presets, I have to ensure all 4 of the variables I've selected for being tied to one-touch return are where I want them prior to pressing the button. So my reel fore aft position is going to be at 2. My reel height at 4. I'm happy with my header height of 1.3 and my header tilt of 4, and I'll set my A point. So now to redo my B points, I have to now incorporate that reel fore aft setting into the mix. So my B points will be 3.2 on my header height, a reel position of 1.4. We'll go to 0 on the fore aft and increase our guard angle. If I'm happy with all of those settings, I can now press and hold B to save those settings for my OTR B position. Now again, to resume to our A position, simply hold A momentarily, and now all 4 of those variables are moving to the target point. And for the B position, the same thing. Now that we've put together 2 in-field one-touch return settings, one for on the ground and one for above ground cutting, button C can be used as a headland management button. So if I wanted to raise my header at the end of the field to make a turn, let's raise that header. Some people like to utilize the reel to clean the cutter bar while the header is raised, so I'm going to move the reel down and put it over the cutter bar. And then, you know what, I'm going to rock my guard angle back, maybe just to knock any mud out of the cutter bar that may be present. So if I'm happy with those settings as a headland management preset, I will hold C. And now those headings are saved. So if I've made my turn in the field and I want to resume cutting, I can go to either my A or B set points depending on what the crop conditions dictate. And that is how you set your one-touch return. To set the time, we enter our setup screens, our main menu, setup, display, and then date and time. And that's not the date.
Is this like Back to the Future?
November 5th, 1985.
So if you're looking for some MacDon products, check out the Gear Shop, where you can find things like belt buckles, socks, t-shirts, more t-shirts. Did I mention t-shirts? Hats, lots of hats. All available at the MacDon Gear Shop.